This morning when I was feeding the cats, I noticed Bubble, our cat, playing with what's down in the sink there. I think she's made a very disturbing discovery. I didn't like the way the spider reacted when I put an end of a paintbrush down here. I want you to take a look at this. I don't like this. Look at the way the spider's reacting. Whoa, see that? I'm pretty sure I can see a spur on the second leg. I think this is a male funnel web. Oh, man, it's freaking rank and it's nasty. Warning, if you have a fear of spiders, this educational video is not for you. And this is the sort of spider that would make you totally rethink ever wanting to live in Sydney or come and visit Sydney, Australia. One bite from this spider is akin to opening the gates of hell. Okay, let's do it. We've had a lot of rain. It's the middle of May. That's maybe what's seemed to surprise me. Just getting it to do its thing. I mean, that is classic funnel web in my mind. And I'm pretty sure there's a spur on the second leg. My God, it's freaking, it's just horrible. But it's also sort of semi-amazing. What are they doing at our place? It was February of last year when I found one of these. It had fallen into a tub and it had died. I think it expired because it got way too hot. Now, from what I'm told, they're fairly clumsy on their feet in the sense that they're not very fast, although going from what I see here, and it's right down the bottom of the sink here, I'm yet to see that proven, but man, I just don't know why these spiders are here now. Just trying to get it up so you can see it moving around a bit. There we are. It is as black as the ace of spades. Yeah, I'd call that fairly clumsy walking. I've seen, spiders move much faster than that. Frippin' hell. Don't like finding these things. It's, I came out to feed the cats, and this is what I come against. Not a very nice way to start a day. I've just grabbed a 9-volt battery because we all know the size of those, and I'm going to put that next to the spider because I think that'll be a great way to scale this spider. There we go. In no way a small spider, but I don't think it's full-sized yet. Just getting down a bit lower there so we can see that spur on the second leg. I think that's a very important feature to point out, and I only learned about that from when I had the funnel web at our house last February. That is last year's February. I'm just going to move the spider to the back edge of the sink, and it's a great way, well, while I'm doing that, you can see the way it's flaring up. It's really trying to bite. Of course, it's doing everything I don't want it to do. Thankfully, it can't get out of this sink. And if it got out of this sink, I would run for my life. I want it back there for a moment. Stay there. Can you listen to me for a moment? Just stay there. Stay. I want to put this down here because I'll see the spider better on that versus a silver stink. Get the spider up. Oh, that's better. Okay. Oh. Well, I want you to stay in the middle. Stay. There's a wider shot of what's going on here. I think it's really important to get your head around the scale of things. It's not a small spider. I'm calling it a large spider. I've been in the suburb, it's called Barara in Sydney, for about 17 years. It's only the last couple of years I seem to have come across the funnel webs at our house. I grew up in a part of Sydney where funnel webs were very, very common. Locals in Barara say there's no funnel webs here, and other locals will say, well, they're here. You just got to know where to look and be unfortunate to find them. Well, the last couple of years, and we've had a lot of rain in the last couple of years, I've been very unfortunate, I feel. And finding this male funnel web in the morning, Not a very nice thing to find, but it may help someone else who gets bitten, because I'm going to take the spider up to the animal park that does the milking of these spiders for the antivenom. And I've got a plastic food container right here, and we're going to get the spider Rooney into the food container. I hope he's gonna behave himself here. Okay, so he's been quite well behaved. And you go, good boy. Just get it round the right way without getting a bite, and I'll put some holes in the lid here already. Okay, done and dusted. Normally spiders here get the flamethrower dusted. This one's a lucky one. I have got a strategy for today for Mr. Spider, and I did use a little feature on my iPhone to see how it identified this spider, and I'm showing you the results here. I find this is a good feature, but don't take it as gospel, okay? But it's a great way to maybe understand what you're dealing with. This is where I'm headed today, the Australian Reptile Park. For me, it's about a 20-minute drive north of where I live in Sydney, and there's a fantastic read on their website, and I'll have links to all this in the info area of this video about the spider venom program. I absolutely ask you to go and click on this link, read what's said here, because it explains the milking process. It explains how the antivenom is made and the use of rabbits in that process. There's stuff here I didn't even know about. And what I found very interesting, because I'm into redback spiders, is it talks about redback spider venom, but maybe I'll talk about that when we talk about redback spiders when I see another one at our place. This is also a very interesting read. It's really important they have spiders to collect venom from. They need the venom to create the antivenom. It's been a couple of hours since I caught my little male beauty here, and what I've noticed is he's actually made a little bit of web down the bottom there, so quite curious. A friend I know who's also collected funnel webs suggested to add a damp cotton swab into the container so our little spider friend isn't as stressed and has got something to drink. So I've done the right thing by Mr. Spider, and I'll get that lid back on. Don't trust him. It's the sort of spider that when you've got it in its container with its air holes, that you triple check that you've got the lid latched down, because it's a spider that you really, really need to respect. This is the second male funnel web we've had at our place. This is the 15th of May 2024 spider that I found today. I was curious about the one that I found, and it was last year in February. I'm just calling it last year's February spider, so 2023 February. This is it here. I can't put this spider up against the one which is alive because this one's been soaking in alcohol, and I always thought this one was slightly bigger. Well, I've got them on the same plane. Of course, the live one's in the container, the dead one's outside. I still say the one from last year, the one I'm wriggling, the one with the shriveled up legs, has got a larger core body versus today's find, and that's my gut feeling. Maybe you're seeing it differently, and when I say it's on the same plane, maybe this picture here helps you understand. Mind you, I did take pictures of both spiders next to 9-volt batteries. Maybe flashing those pictures up is going to help us understand which one's bigger and which one's smaller, or maybe it's not going to help at all. Now, I still say last year's funnel web's bigger. For transporting Mr. Funnel Web, I have got an insurance policy here because the interior of my car is black, and if a black spider escapes inside a black vehicle, well, it's only going to cause a nightmare. And my faith in a Chinese food container holding up against any sort of impact is minimal. So if I put that in there, and if I dipperoonie this up nice and tight, I should be okay. I'll very carefully put my little passenger in, nice and gently. I'm also going to buckle him in, because if there is any sort of mishaps, I want him to be as safe as he possibly can, and the airbag will save him. Okay, he's safely on board. Okay, I'm on my way up to the Australian Reptile Park, and I've had a few weeks to look into the Sydney funnel web spider because there's some very important points I want to enforce. If you're bitten by a spider which looks like a Sydney funnel web spider in the area Sydney funnel web spiders reside, you always need to resort to a worst case scenario, because if it is a Sydney funnel web spider bite, it can kill a small child in 15 minutes, it can kill an adult in 2 hours, and if you're unlucky, it can kill you in 1 hour. If I believe everything I read online, there's 36 styles of funnel web spiders, but it's a Sydney funnel web that's the most dangerous, and it's the male Sydney funnel web that historically has caused the fatal bites. Thankfully these days there is an antivenom, that's why it's important to take this spider up to where they get milked, and the antivenom's been around since I think the early 80s. If you're wondering how Bubble, our cat, is, she's okay. I kept a close eye on her for a couple of hours. There's something strange about funnel web spiders. The bite from them is most dangerous to humans, and for some reason other animals don't have the savage effect from the venom that humans suffer. So this connects to why they use rabbits to produce the funnel web spider antivenom. So right now we're going to say thank you to all the rabbits who are being injected with funnel web spider venom so the humans are safe. Thank you, rabbits. Yet, if Bubble was bitten by a redback spider and they're common at our place, that could be a totally different outcome. Redback spiders are very dangerous to pets. Now, getting back to what Bubble likes to do is, she likes to grab things from the garden and she likes to bring them inside, and this goes on all the time, especially during summertime. Now, I wouldn't put it past her to try to bring that male funnel web spider into the house. To her, it was just a plaything, but it gives you an idea how these spiders that would normally be outside can be brought inside. Of course, the funnel web spider was trapped in the sink. They can't climb up slippery surfaces. But to get to that sink, this spider has had to climb up 2 meters above ground level because these are ground-dwelling spiders. Mind you, there is a variation of this spider that lives in trees, but let's not go there right now, hey? But for all the people that I showed the photograph of my funnel web spider discovery, of course I said, well, Leo, where's the rest of them? Where's Big Mama? Where are the other children? And didn't you find one 15 months ago? A male funnel web spider, and it was found in a straight line 5 meters away from the one in the sink. So that's sort of saying to me there must be a nest nearby. But where is it? That's the problem. I can look under the deck and I'm starting to think, is it amongst the bricks there? Is it somewhere in the garden? I have not seen what I could call a funnel web spider nest yet. And I'm thinking the mid-May discovery of the funnel web spider was due to the rain that we had. We had 2 weeks of fairly consistent and drenching rain prior to the discovery of this spider. I really think it's rain related and not related to their mating season, which happens a few months earlier. Looking at the kitchen top next to the sink, and this is where we're all going to get goosebumps in thinking how this could have played out. Now, if this spider didn't get trapped in the sink, guess where it may have gone next? Look, there's Mummy's gardening gloves. It looks just like a perfect little home to hide in during the day, as these spiders like to do. And the idea of spiders getting into Mummy's gloves has been historically a long old joke on my channel, but this is now absolutely no joke. We're dealing with one of the most dangerous spiders in the world who could give you a bite from hell. And I'm pretty sure if you're putting your finger into a glove and that male funnel web spider is in there, it's going to get in a really, really good bite and deliver you plenty of venom. And the idea of leaving things outside the house, which are similar to gloves, and that's shoes, these spiders are going to get into a shoe, and again it's just going to think, wow, this is the perfect place to reside during the day until nighttime falls. Remembering these are nocturnal spiders, you would rarely ever see them out during the day unless they're caught out and can't get back to their spider nests or hidey holes that the males make during the day. Way too often I see new Australians who reside in Sydney or Sydney surrounds, and they will leave lots of shoes outside the house. They may leave clothing on the back of a chair that's dangling onto the ground. It only sets up a spider nightmare. Once these spiders get into shoes or clothing, who knows what's going to happen. In my bumbling and stumbling online, I came across a fascinating read related to a New South Wales University student called Caitlin Creek. I hope I said your name correctly there. She and her team put tracking devices with super glue onto the back of 8 male funnel web spiders. And then these spiders were let loose and tracked within the Lane Cove National Park, which is fairly centralised to the North Shore of Sydney. There's a lot of mysteries surrounding funnel web spiders. It's not a very well understood spider species. And the study wanted to try to understand how far the mature male funnel web spiders wander when they go searching for a female in the mating season. It's quite a deep and interesting study. I won't talk about all of it here. In fact, I'm trying to find out more about the study that was done. But I read in news articles that they worked out a male funnel-web spider can move between 1 metre to 60 metres in a night. Is the male spider walking in a straight line? Is it doing zigzags? Or is it walking in a circle? And what sort of terrain was it up against? In some of the articles it talks about some fairly savage terrain that these spiders were easily able to encounter. But then again, how did these spiders act in suburbia? That's another big query. Everything that I found online about this study, I found it to be fascinating, and personally, I couldn't think of anything more daring and dangerous than stumbling around at night holding a tracker trying to find the 8 male funnel-web spiders that you've superglued tracking devices to, and you're hoping you're not going to put your foot on one of them. With the male funnel web I captured, while it was in a plastic container, I put the ball camera on it very quickly. It was tricky to do. The spider kept wanting to move around. What I did notice was what looked like mites or maybe ticks, very, very small, that seemed to be residing on the spider. The audience will work out what's going on there because I haven't got a clue. Quite some years back now, back in 2020, I found a large, dark, hairy, scary spider that was on the wall at the back of our house and I captured it. This spider appeared after what was a fairly lengthy and heavy period of rain. I could see it's not the sort of spider that makes a web and hangs between trees. I could see this is the sort of spider that would live down on the ground. And I'm pretty sure it was looking for higher, dry ground. I made a video about this spider and put it up on YouTube as a mystery spider. Now what was interesting was what the audience was saying online in identifying this spider. We had spider experts saying one thing, we had the general audience saying another. I had my own personal thoughts, but in the end there was about 20 different species of spider that were wrapped around this one spider that I showed in the video. I'm pretty sure in that video I was doubtful that it was a Sydney funnel web, and why I said that was because it was a fairly calm spider. It wasn't flaring up at me as Sydney funnel webs do. But seeing the masses of different identifications of this spider really highlights how difficult and tricky it is to properly identify a spider, especially when you've got nothing to compare it to. And some people say, oh, the spider moves fast, but how do you define how fast a spider moves? The spider that I found back in 2020, I felt it was quite a vigorous, fast-moving spider. And curiously, I put some new pictures of it into my iPhone to see how the iPhone identified this spider. Well, guess what the result was? It's telling me it's a Sydney funnel web spider. In identifying spiders, people often talk about the scale of the spider, the colour of the spider, if it's got hair or no hair, if it's got a colour underneath or a colour on top. And a curious one is, does the spider have spurs on its legs? A male Sydney funnel web spider has spurs on its second set of legs. Yet there are male trapdoor spiders that look very similar to a Sydney funnel web, and they will have spurs on their front set of legs. Now, in the panic that happens after someone's bitten by a spider, are you going to try to remember which spider has what spur on what leg? And I think this is a very, very important thing to enforce, that if you see a black spider scurrying away after a bite, you always have to default to a worst case scenario if you're unsure of what spider has bitten you. You always have to think this is potentially a funnel web spider. Of course, I'm headed to Gosford to drop off the male funnel web spider that I captured. There are many other places I could have taken this spider. I could have gone to Hornsby Hospital, which was only 10 minutes away from where I live in Sydney. There's a link on the Australian Reptile Park webpage that details all the places you can take these spiders to. Some of them are hospitals, some of them are vet clinics. And there's lots of other great resources related to funnel web spiders on the Australian Reptile Park's website. There's a great video showing you how to safely capture these spiders. And there was another video there showing you how to find their nests and how to find the funnel web spider egg sacs, because that was something that they were after to keep their funnel web venom milking program alive. In the info area of this video, I'll have as many links as I can related back to the things that I've just spoken about as we're driving towards the reptile park. And I always think back to reading about Caitlin Creek's study of the male funnel web spider and what it gets up to at night and how it moves from nest to nest, and it doesn't necessarily get eaten by the first female that he encounters. But maybe one of the most interesting things I read about Caitlin Creek's study of the male funnel-web spider was she noticed that the male spider weaves up a little bed, and it's like the little thing that they do while they're waiting out till the next night. Now remember, the spider I captured had weaved up a piece of web in that plastic container. And I think maybe it's very important to understand this web weaving that it does, because it will tell you or give you a sign that potentially there's a male funnel-web spider in the shoe you're about to put your foot into. But of course in Australia you're taught as a young person, before you put your shoes on, if they've been outside, you knock them on the ground to knock out whatever's crawled inside. But as I alluded to earlier, there's a lot of new Australians who have no idea how it works here. As lots of my audience know, I've messed around with redback spiders for maybe the past 8-10 years, but I can tell you this right now, and I'm drawing the line right now. The Sydney funnel-web spider is a spider that I will not ever mess with. It's a spider that I totally respect. If you're a person who likes spiders, look, it's a spectacular spider. It's amazing how it reacts to you when it's trying to defend its ground. It is a spider that will want to bite you if it gets a chance. And it's the sort of spider that if you make one mistake with it, it's going to let you know who's boss. And that's why I don't play with them. But in the back of my mind, and this plays out every time I go out to the back deck now, when am I going to find the third spider, the fourth spider, the fifth spider, and so on? And I've spoken to quite a few people in the suburbs since I found this spider back on the 15th of May. And I asked them, have you seen a funnel-web spider? Now I get two totally different stories. From people who've been in the suburbs, say 30 years plus, they say, oh yeah, those spiders have always been here. You just got to be unlucky to find one. But from newer people in the suburb, they will say, what funnel-web spiders? There are none up here. This area doesn't have funnel-web spiders. Well, I can tell you something right now. The area of Sydney where I live, which is Barara, has funnel-web spiders. Okay, I'm at the reptile park. I had a nice stress-free drive up here. The freeway can be stressful when there's a lot of trucks. And I will get Black Beauty out of the car and take him into the reptile park. This is a fantastic place. I've been here many times with my children. You can't go wrong coming here. It's a great day out. I'm going to try and scam my way in to the spider area to get a free tour. Do you think I can pull that off? I'm hoping Black Beauty's my free ticket into something special. Okay, I'm inside and we're having an inspection of the spider. It's been identified as a male funnel web, which I'm happy about that.
We need you to move.
Oh, beautiful. Stunning work. Lovely.
Should I put some dirt in there for him?
Okay, oh look at this. We're getting the royal treatment here.
Yeah, so the dirt is actually how they breathe.
I'm just being told he's not fully fledged. He's only a youngster.
Don't quote me on that, but...
Well, we can quote you. Because of the size of the spurs on the second leg, which they are small, which I thought, compared to the one I saw last year. Yeah.
So yeah, they're usually very prominent. You can see them right on the second leg there.
Yeah. This place is a wealth of information. I was given a lovely spider sheet here. Yeah, because there's a lot of misidentification that goes on, and I've got to fill out a spider donation form as well. I've made the donation of the male funnel web. They were very, very appreciative of the donation, of a cocky screeching up above me. I didn't get the access to the secret spider area, and I told them I was a person online, and often people don't believe me. I don't present in a normal way. Anyway, I've done my good deed for the day, and that was exciting, but maybe exciting in not the nicest way. I don't like finding funnel webs at our place. Obviously, there's a nest getting about somewhere near the back of our house. To finish the video off, I'm going to talk about a few factors that can affect the funnel web spiders. Of course, I spoke about rain already, and we've had a lot of rain in the time before this spider decided to think our backdoor kitchen was its next best home. I took some video of the communication infrastructure conduits that are in the suburb overflowing with water. But this isn't that uncommon. The past 4 years, we've had so much rain in the Sydney area, it's almost become a running joke of how wet it is. I can't remember the last time I mowed the lawn and started to kick up dust. All I seem to remember is how muddy the ground's been. And remember, funnel-web spiders live down on the ground, so sooner or later you're going to get tired of being flushed out of your house and you're going to hunt for higher ground. Another factor that's been going on in our backyard, and it's been going on when it's been wet in the last couple of years, and that is bandicoots. Now, bandicoots are one of the natural predators of the Sydney funnel-web spider. I've spoken about the bandicoots in our backyard on previous videos. They're strange critters. They've got a long schnozzle on them. They're about the size of a rabbit, and they dig into the ground looking for grubs, spiders, and anything they desire to have in their jaws. The bandicoot may have upset a funnel-web nest, and the funnel-web's gone running for its life, and that's why it's ended up in our kitchen. In my mind, bandicoots are friends of the garden, although they are very misunderstood by a lot of people because they can do a lot of damage to gardens and also lawns. Another thing that's been going on not far from where I live in Barara is an amazing machine which is digging horizontal holes into the ground called a ditch witch. This machine is drilling holes into the ground right in the zone where funnel-web spiders like to reside. I spoke to the operator of this machine. He was a lovely person to talk to, and he explained to me how it's computer controlled and how it keeps direction drilling its horizontal hole. I asked him a very simple query. Do you ever come across funnel-web spiders when you're drilling? He said, yeah, it's not uncommon to come across funnel-web spiders when they're drilling their horizontal holes. So it's a toss-up between the ditch witch, the bandicoots, and all the rain as to why Mr. Funnel-web decided our back sink was the perfect place to play. And I'm thinking, in what I've showed you in this video, a lot of people are looking at what goes on in Australia, and it goes back to what I always say, Australia's not for everyone.